Hi guys! Nothing super important to share today. Just wanted to go ahead and show off some of the plants that I brought inside for the season. It's starting to get a little cold outside, starting to freeze, so time to bring in some of the more delicate plants. What I have right here is my ginger ficus bonsai plant that I've been taking care of for about a year now. And then I also brought in my lemon tree. Let me move over to that. Is my dwarf Meyer lemon tree. It's only a few years old, so it still looks a little bit runty. But it's not doing too bad being brought inside. I have it underneath some lights, and they're enjoying that. Just look here. What? What? No. This is war. So spider mites are something that are a lot more common in the winter months when things get a little bit drier and they have a really nice dry, warm climate to live in. Usually your heated home in a dry winter. Now what they're going for is to get those undersides of the leaves and to suck the moisture out of them. You're going to see your leaves start getting dry, they're going to start falling off. And the most important telltale factor for spider mites is you'll see fine webbing. That's the name spider mites. And they'll kind of web along, and it's so fine that you almost might not see it until it's too late. Milk, flour, water, and a spray bottle. All things that I very conveniently have in my house. And it makes a solution that's made to suffocate and kill the spider mites. Not a very pleasant death, but effective. And it also helps to suffocate, more importantly, the eggs to keep them from reproducing anymore. So right here I have in front of me my milk, my spray bottle, my flour, measuring device, and across the way I have some tap water. Now, the recommended amount of milk and flour to a gallon of water is 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup per gallon. So I have taken that down, and we're going to do either a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of milk and flour, both. And that is for 25 fluid ounce bottle. So let's go ahead and start that here. One thing to keep in mind when you're using something like milk, that even though we're using this to kill insects, if you want to use it again, you're still going to want to refrigerate it because it will spoil. There's the milk. Probably should have done that. Let me grab another spoon here. Not a very clean person either. Let's get the flour in here. And funnel. A little bit more. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fill this up with water. One sec. Now I made sure not to fill it all the way to the top, keeping in mind that my measurements were made for that 25 fluid ounce mark. If your bottle doesn't have that, I would say go up to there. And really the measurements are just approximate. I try to keep the flour around that 1 tablespoon mark, because otherwise it'll start gunking up the tubing in your spray bottle, and you'll actually end up ruining a spray bottle this way, because it does make almost a glue-like substance. So you want to go ahead and give this a good shake. Check. Alright, so I've gone ahead and taken my lemon tree, as you can see here, and I have put it into my bathtub. That way, when I spray this mixture, it's just as easy as turning the shower head on afterwards to rinse the mixture out from my bathtub. Now, when you're spraying down any of your plants, To get rid of spider mites, you do have to be really thorough. It's a really annoying procedure, but it is important. What I like to do, let's get this shaken up a little bit more, is try to grab underneath the leaves as much as possible. Right now my plant leaves are kind of facing up because of the way my grow lights are, but that's not always the case, and you'll have to kind of, like on these lower ones, turn them up to get underneath the leaf. The spider mites are usually going to be sucking on underneath the leaves, so that's where you really want to get to them. So I'll go ahead and spray down the plant here. You want to make sure to get full coverage, make sure the thing is pretty much dripping wet. And you let that go. Again, getting underneath all of the leaves. Very important to exterminate your enemies. Okay, got it pretty thoroughly covered. Normally I would be a little bit more thorough, but for the sake of time. After this process, what I go ahead and do is let it dry for 20 or 30 minutes. Sometimes a couple hours, just depending on what's going on. It's not super important that you monitor the time perfectly. After I let it dry for a while, you'll notice when it's dry when you'll see little white flaky bits on top of the leaves. If you don't see those flaky bits, you might not have used enough mixture, in my experience. So you'll want to go ahead and maybe remake it at that point. What I'd like to go ahead and do next is to actually rinse that mixture off. Hopefully by then it's done its suffocating point, and I don't want to harm the plant or the leaves. So I'd just go ahead and close up the shower. And it doesn't take a lot, just get kind of rinsed off. Let it dry in there. If you have any significant others in the house, they might get irritated that you have a plant in the shower, but they'll get over it because you need to kill the spider mites. Seriously.